So today we have a fun build and fun project. So this is a E92 or E90 M3 manual, which is super awesome. And we have a slight problem with this one. So this one was brought to us here, and it needs a subframe, a front subframe at that. This side seems to be okay. Seems to be pretty straight underneath the hood. Wherever the hood latch is to open it. Don't know. I'm sure I'll figure it out. There we go. Has the V8 in it, which is awesome. But this side has some pretty good damage to it. He's actually broke every single control arm. Broke every, like this is the tie rod, which is completely just sheared off. Control arm's broken off. The rear one arm's missing and broken and cracked off. But when we were starting to replace everything, we noticed that there's a lot of damage. All this stuff's broken, the shock is bent, the knuckle's cracked, and then when you come back here, you find out that the subframe's cracked here, and cracked up in here, and cracked on the other side. So there's a lot of damage on the subframe, and the pickup point's right there. So we're going to be changing all of this stuff. We'll show you how we're going to be doing it, taking all this off, replacing this as well, and we'll show you what it looks like when we're done. But how we're basically going to do it is we're going to go a brace from this side to this side, and we're going to hold the motor up from here and then do everything out the bottom of the vehicle. So let's get started, and we'll show you step by step how we're going to remove that and put this new one on. So first thing we took off was the big air box that was right here. So we pulled that off. This thing, it was just like this. We just turned it sideways to keep it out of the way for now. And that was so that we can get down and pick up the motor from the headers. It's not ideal, but it's pretty much the only place that's strong enough to hold the motor up. This side we do have a front hook, but it actually will start to turn the motor. So we're going to pick up the headers from both sides. So I just daisy chained it straight down, right back up to here. We're using a simple just engine hoist thing. It says it holds 1,000 pounds. I don't know. We won't need it to hold that much because the back half's held up by the trans anyways. So we're picked up here. You can see it literally just wrapped around the header. Pretty simple there. And then we're gonna take the skid plate off on the bottom down here. Okay, so we've removed the skid plate. Skid plate's sitting right there. Literally just the 6 bolts right around it. And as we did, we started to find out that there's more things that are damaged. So, like this is cracked cleanly off right here, which is not good. I mean, this thing's broken, this is broken. There's a bunch of stuff broken and destroyed. So, we're gonna go through here, start pulling this apart. I'm sure we're gonna find a whole lot more stuff that is damaged and things we need to fish out. So, sway bar and stuff looks okay, but a lot of the things that mount to it and go back and forth are pretty bad. So, let's keep taking it apart and see what's going on. So next, not sure what I'm going to take off. Probably drop the sway bar out of the way and just take it off from the end linkage on that side as well. This one's already broken off, so we'll just drop this out of the way and then go to the next part. Okay, so what we ended up doing was dropping these, which are just the 2 lower arms on that side, and taking off the steering linkage. So now that's totally free and out of the way. The rack, I took the bolt right here out and the bolt right here out of the rack. So now the rack is movable. Also up front, you have a lot of weird stuff going on right here with these lines. It's kind of a funky setup. So what happens is that this is a clamp that goes around. So you take this clamp off and that clamp off, and then this whole thing, in theory, is gonna go up. So see how it like pushes up and down? This is actually a big clamp that goes around the whole thing. So this is all off now. Now what we're going to do is take off all this plastic stuff from the back so we can access the subframe from the rear, and then we're going to start dropping the subframe and seeing what else we're getting hung up on. Okay, so now what we do is drop the bolts on the subframe, which were just the 2 bolts here and then the 2 in the rear, and the subframe came down. You kind of got to fish it out around this, around the rack, and make sure these lines don't get caught up because they are attached to the rack, so it all moves in one piece. But that's what it looks like without the cross member in. So pretty simple, not too bad. Just make sure you can take all the arms and everything off. So now I'm going to fish it all back up in there, and the main thing is getting this arm. I turned the rack all the way to one side to clear this tie rod, and then all the way to the other side to clear the other side. So that's kind of the trick I found out. Like you wiggle it left and then wiggle it right, and you can get both sides off. So now I got this side on. I'm gonna push the rack all the way out that way, and then I'll be able to get this top one on, because right now there's no way to get this in between this rack. So that'll slide down in there, drop right in, and then hopefully we can get all this front assembly back on as we go up. Okay, so I fished this thing back up there. The subframe's not all the way back in, but I did get one bolt in it, just to kind of center it to hold it up. There's dowel pins that stick down to push it on up and hold it up there. This is the new one, as you can tell. And the hardest thing is getting all these lines in the right order, not getting them pinched. So this one I got pinched up top. I had to pull this one back down through it, and then it got stuck behind the second line, and there's all these lines that are like clustered up here that they're just a pain. So this whole design, I think, is pretty bad design by BMW. But anyways, there, it's all together. I'm not an engineer, I apologize, but there we go. So we got that all together. Now we're gonna start putting the bolts in this to align this guy, and then we're gonna drop the motor down a little bit to make sure that it goes into the motor mounts right here, and then push up the rear of it. So let's do that now. Okay, so what I figured out, the only way to get this thing to work, I tried doing it from the front and the back, it doesn't really work. Jack it up here in the middle and hold it up a little bit down, because you have these dowel pins that slide down. So keep it off the dowel pins, and then you're gonna want to get these in the right slot. These are the motor mounts. I had to reach up through the front side over here in order to push them over, but once you get it in on this side, just put the nut on it so it doesn't fall down. Do that one, and once the nuts are on both of those, then put this one in and let the subframe hang on these. And then once you do that, it'll be like flat and balanced. You can get it all balanced out. Then take this, shoot that one all the way up tight, the other one all the way up tight, and then you can do the dowel pin ones, these ones, this one right here in the rear that's tucked in, which is an 18, and then the 16 back here, and you're good to go. So subframe is in. I'm going to shoot down the motor mounts. I still need to replace all this stuff. I need to get all these lines. They're out of the way now, but I got to get them all back up. So once they're back up, we should be good to go. Get these clasps on, and yeah, we should be ready to rock at that time. Plus, I got to assemble all that. So let's finish doing this first, and then I'll start doing the other side and these control arms. Okay, so now that you have all these things bolted back in and all the lines on, you should be all good to go up front and tucked in. Everything should be bolted in. Now it's on its own weight, so the motor's just bolted in. Motor mounts are bolted down. It's all suspended by itself. So we're going to put the sway bar up in, and then we're going to start going to the side, do that side, and then go and fix and do all this side as well. Okay, so we have this all back on. I got the rotor on, the new hub. I have the shock on. All the new control arms, which says do not tow from this location, all that stuff, even the new tie rod that's nice and straight. So got it all back on, we're all good to go. I'm gonna put the wheel on, and then we're gonna lower it back down. Here's the old tie rod, which does not look very good at all. So we're gonna lower it back down, and I'm gonna put the under tray on it, and then we're gonna start aligning it. Okay, so we got the wheel back on. We're gonna get ready to send it to the body shop to do the body stuff, but just a fender, nothing big. We're taking this guy back off, and then we're gonna be turning this back over, pulling the chains out, and then reinstalling the big air box right here. Then we'll set it down and do a basic alignment, set them all up, and then they should be done. So thanks for watching. I don't think you guys need help putting that back together, but anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like the video, click like. If you want to subscribe and watch more of the fun videos, then subscribe down here at the bottom. And we'd love to have you, and hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. So enjoy.